everybody, this is Dan from Laser Toys, and I've got a new kit we're just releasing. It's called the Skat Rat. It's basically a smaller vortex, but it is made out of the XPX foam, which is RC airplane foam. Anyway, really cool stuff. I'm really kind of liking it, and I'm going to show you the build on putting this together, and you'll see how we designed it so the structural integrity of the plane is built right into all of the components. So no carbon fibers needed. You need some packing tape for hinges, but everything else is pretty good, and this thing is fast if you set it up with the racing quad motors, like the 22 series, 23 series, stuff like that. It will handle a bigger battery. We've got the test first maiden. We put a 1300 milliamp battery on there. We're going to run probably a 1050 is really all you need. Makes it a little bit lighter, a little bit faster. So there's some really cool stuff going on here. You can turn this into a night flyer. You can do a lot of really cool stuff. I mean, we're FPV, you name it. I think we're going to come up with a lot of good stuff here with this model. I really like it. It's sandable. It is easy to work with. It is pretty much hot glue compatible. You would need foam safe CA if you're going to use CA, but I would recommend either foam tack or hot glue to get this thing together. Anyway, we'll start on the build here. We have kind of the finish is not perfect on this, but it's really not bad. I mean, I would call it, you know, kind of a little bit of a bumpy finish. You can do stuff like I'm using 150 grit 3M. You can actually sand this, and it cleans up really nice. I mean, it really flattens it out. So if you want to do that, you can do it. So you can go over it and smooth it out really nice. I don't really think it makes much of a difference in flying, but you can try that. The first thing we're going to do here, this is the main wing, the center. It gets sandwiched between two other pieces. But we have to make up our hinge. Now you can see the lines in here for the hinges. Now they are not complete, but what you want to do before you start on the hinges is take a piece of packing tape. I'm going to take some packing tape and I'm going to just run from one side to the other. And this stuff is pretty cheap. You can get it at the dollar store or wherever. Just lay it on there, stick it down really good, okay, and then go over it, rub it in, then flip this over, and what you can do is trim it off. So I'm going to take, just going to take the razor blade here, and I'm going to go around the edge and just trim it off, so we get rid of these pieces here that are excess. We'll cut that off first, and then I'm going to trim this side like this. Just get that out of there. And I'm going to, in the center here, I'm going to just cut that little pattern out of there, and works out pretty good. Okay, so I'll take that piece out of there. Okay. So we've got all the tape trimmed. So now you've actually got a tape hinge up here. And what you want to do is just bend this back. Kind of make sure it's staying down. Bend it back all the way. And then if you want, you can trim this off with a knife. Or you can sand it. It doesn't really matter. But you want to put a little bit of an angle in there, okay? You want to put a little bit of an angle on that. I kind of like using a knife. Now you don't want to get too far down. Okay, now you want to make sure you get a little bit of down in there. So without too much pressure, because it'll put a little bit of extra tension on your servo. Alright, now we've got both of these hinges so they move easily. No problem. You want, I don't know if you can see that, but you want about that much down in it. That should be plenty. Should be about an inch total of travel on that. Okay, we've got that done. Alright, next thing we want to do, let's just put the nose piece together. You've got the piece with little tabs sticking up, and what you want to do is just shoot some hot glue around there, and then get this piece, the side piece, put one side piece on and press down. Okay, then make sure it's level, make sure it's flat so that it sits right here, it's nice and flat. Okay, we're going to do this piece. And same thing, I'm going to put the side piece on, press it down, and make sure it's flat. Now you should have a piece that's sitting there with the two little tabs sticking up on it. So that should be ready to place on when we get to that point. Now again, you can sand this stuff down, you can sand the edges on this if you want. Make it look nice, give it a little bit of a rounded edge, and make it so it's nice and even. You can sand the front so it's straight. That's the thing I like about this, it's very sandable. And I kind of like it looking good. So I can trim it up, make it look really nice. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do, this is the top piece. Okay, this is going to get glued on top, but it has to line up so your rudders fit in here. So just kind of make sure everything is lining up there on both sides, and then you can kind of see how it's going to go together. Now this center piece is kind of overcut on the top piece just to allow you to put components in there. Yours may vary, you may have to alter those somewhat, but it shouldn't be too much of an issue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the piece that I'm going to place on top, I'm going to go around the whole edge with hot glue. Just go around the whole perimeter of everything, and then don't take too long on this, because your hot glue is going to start cooling off on you. Alright, and I'm pretty much ready to lay it on top. Make sure I line it up to where my rudders will go. Make sure my motor mount is lined up nicely. Then once you get it into place, make sure your edges are down nice and press down. That's it. Now if you're a little bit off on the edges or something, don't worry about it. You can always trim that off and sand it and make it really nice. Now this makes it very flat, so it's really kind of a added strength. It is allows you depth for your components, and it also adds rigidity when you put your rudders in there. If you notice right now, this is flexible right here. You can flex this pretty good. Well, by the time we get done with the rudders and everything, this will be super rigid. You'll be surprised how strong that is. Just the way it goes. Okay, so we're sitting nice and flat. Let's get the bottom on there now, which is this piece. Now this piece has an outline of a couple spots, and those are just so you don't get glue in there. You don't want glue inside of those squares. You just want to glue around the whole thing. Same as the other piece. Go around, keep your glue out of the little squares, but get enough glue on there that's going to hold really well. Alright, and I'm pretty happy with that. And And now we're going to place that on here. Now just line up your motor mount and then the nose and you'll be good. Okay, and when it's in there, press it down. That's it. Now that adds a little more rigidity to it. Things are starting to look pretty good here as far as getting rigid. Another thing you can do is I use the push method. I push a little bead right up along the inside of all my edges, and you can see I didn't get much glue in there, so it didn't stick. So this will actually hold it, and that'll be fine. So if you add that, and then along here, push a little bit in there. Yeah, now so if you didn't get it to stick very good in certain spots, just go around the edges. It does wonders in making it rigid. Same thing on this side. You can follow this little pattern right up through there on both sides. And that pretty much sticks it together well. So that's good. Okay, now we're going to look at the rudders. The rudders should fit in here. They should be perpendicular to the surface of your table. Okay, and they should fit perfect in there. Make sure they're straight up and down. You can fudge them a little bit if they're not. Okay, and there's the rudders. I mean, this is really an easy build, guys. Alright, so now I'm going to do the push method and put the rudders in. Same thing up here. Okay, I'm going to get the rudders glued in really good. If you want, on the very tip, you can add a little bit of glue if you want. Okay, same with this side. I'm going to push it in. And that one I didn't get down all the way, but that's okay, because you can push it down. Double check your right angle there. Same, we're going to do this side. A little bit in the front. And that's it. Right, we are all hot glued together here. And then sometimes I just roll off that excess stuff depending on how hot. I like the dual temperature gun. These are really kind of nice. Okay, now if you want to get kind of fancy with it, you know, take it and cut an angle on your top piece or whatever. Bottom piece, top piece, whatever. Just like trim it off. Probably use a sharper razor blade here. Okay, bring it right down through there. Got a nice angle on it, and then you can sand it and make it look good. So I'm going to sand that up. It's going to look really nice. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. You can break the edges on your rudders if you want. You know, there's a lot of things. We're also going to glue the bottom, this little piece on the bottom, and I'm just going to go around the whole thing like we've been doing with everything. And I'm just going to put it right in there. It should fit perfectly in those little holes. There we go. Awesome. There we go. Make sure we get them in the holes. Okay. We're good there. I'm going to push a little bit along the side. Make sure it sticks in there. A little bit along the front edge. And that should pretty much be it. I'll do a little on the back edge too. Okay. So that's it. Now, when this cools, if you check the rigidity of this, and it's pretty cool right now. Now, it's hard to get this thing to flex. It's pretty rigid. So you're really gonna feel the strength and the integrity by all the components. And you gotta remember, glue is part of your structure. So it adds to the strength of your plane. Alright, so we're going to move on to the next step. I'm going to sand a little bit, make this look nice, and we'll go to the next step.